already joined. Uh-oh, see, this is your son right here.
Like it's already live. They go to easy way.
Yeah, quiet. No problem.
Yeah, you got to
Okay, mine.
Shalom.
Shalom.
First off, we want to give all praises to
Yahawah,
by Shem, Yahawashi, by Shem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Faith Millstone for teaching really well, and peace and blessings to the Akim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keeping his word and keeping sincerity.
Yep. Right here.
Yeah, pretty much, there's a lot of things to talk about, when it comes to America and judgment and the prophecies, what I'm saying? Because right now, if you pay attention to Joe Biden, the current president of the United States,
Joe Blackhead.
yeah, he's got a lot of things that he's trying to work on, what I'm saying? Like, for example, when Trump was in office, you had ICE and all that pretty much taking care of like immigrants, Ishikar and everything. And then Biden promised, pretty much to be beneficial to them, right?
Right.
But you find out that he's pretty much working on a law to where it's pretty much the same thing that was going on before, right? You would take it pretty much says like going into how if there is like a immigrant child that is like that's pretty much an immigrant,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And they have the right to pretty much put them in a detention center. You know what I mean? But that's the same thing they've been doing though. But Biden was promising all these things like, man, we're gonna give you all this, we're gonna give you all that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get that, like, belong to them that trust in Egypt.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because really, Ishikar is looking at Ishikar and the southern kingdom are looking at Biden and these so-called white people in office. Because they got different administrations that they deal with. The Trump administration, and then you got Biden's administration. So they looking at these people like a way out. You know what I mean?
Yep. Isaiah 30, 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahawah.
Yeah, so they looking at these Edomites because they got, they a powerful nation. You know what I'm saying? America is looked as one of the best of the best. You know, they got chariots, they got mighty military. Almost unmatched.
Right.
So our people are looking at these people like, or our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are looking at these Edomites as pretty much gods.
Yep.
Yeah, like, you're right. Yeah, a hope. Like,
Hey, like TD Jakes said that he has faith in the vaccination, and he went on Dr. Oz's television show to promote the vaccination. And he kept on emphasizing faith in the vaccination, But that's going back to what the Quran is bringing out. The fact that our people are trusting in Egypt and not in the will of Yahawashi and Yahawashi. Because the scriptures tell us that we're not supposed to be basically breaking our skin, man. There's a law that says you're not supposed to break your skin, man. Which really is going into tattoos, but that could be, you could compare that, or it's very similar to the vaccination. You're not supposed to be doing that, man.
yeah, that's right. A lot of these Israelites are also taking part of that program, to where you'll take the vaccine and then you'll get like a second booster shot or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Let's say a second shot. You know what I'm saying? And they really, like, in their mind, they're really thinking like, oh hell yeah, I'm one of that percent that's fighting against COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, these motherfuckers already been having the COVID-19 vaccine, or the cure. They got cancer. You know what I'm saying? All these things. But when it comes to the COVID-19, man, they really just doing it just to pretty much put that cloud over your head to where they can really make you do what they want. You know what I'm saying? That mask thing really goes back to around the 1800s or 1700s when they had Israel in captivity. You know, the mask that was mandatory for them to wear, and that yoke of iron around their neck. You know, this ain't nothing new, man. If they tell you to do something, you're gonna do it. You're gonna jump the hoops. They tell you to wear a mask, and you see somebody not wearing a mask, and you got damn near flip out.
Yeah. People get upset.
It's wrong. You want the number?
Yeah,
Oh, you got it.
Okay, you want me to grab more on it? Back to Isaiah 31, and I'll start at 2. Isaiah 31 and 2. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will rise against the house of the evildoers, and against the house of the evil. But he will rise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity.
But yeah, pretty much, eventually, you know what, yeah, get that.
Number 21 and 5. And the people spake against God and against Moses, wherefore have you brought us out? Wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness?
Yeah, man, so it's the same thing, right? Israel doesn't look at the Lord as a means of salvation. They go through a little hardship out here in the wilderness, and now they're like, man, we might as well just stay in Egypt. Hey, Esau got hella obstacles that he puts out for Israel, man, and nobody say a damn thing. Taxes. Oh yeah, we're gonna increase taxes. You know what I'm saying? The gas is gonna go up. You know what I'm saying? There's power. You know, we gotta turn off certain power for certain areas. We gotta roll it over. Nobody say a goddamn thing, man. But Israel so damn rebellious. They'll blame the Lord. Yeah.
Saying the people spake against the Most High and against Moses, wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loathe this light bread.
Yeah, man. You had Target and all these other places like pretty much empty during the whole icy in Texas, right? There was pretty much running out of meat, vegetables, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna blame Esau for it. And the Lord put you in a spot to where he pretty much telling you, look, all you gotta do is just do what I tell you. And then you see basically, if you see the same thing, but the Lord is dealing with you, or not dealing with you, but the Lord is doing it, you're gonna blame him. Ain't nobody blaming Esau for this.
And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
Yeah, man. So pretty much all the unbelievers, and this happened a few good times. You know, the Lord took Israel out of Egypt, taking them to a place of a land of milk and honey. Then you got them hard-headed Israelites thinking, man, why'd you, like, man, I ain't ate in a while. I'm hungry. Now, hey, you brought us out here to die. I was better off in Egypt. You know, I got all this food. I could just go to the market. You know what I'm saying? Very carnal. You know, so they don't look. That's why the Lord said in 1 Samuel, like, man, okay, like they haven't denied you. You know, talking to Samuel, but they denied me because they were asking for a king. And then what they say, they give us a king like the other nations. You know, so you could see the mindset of Israel and how rebellious and dumb they are. You know, all the miracles that the Lord did. As a matter of fact, can you get that in Nehemiah 9th chapter?
Okay.
Sorry at the time. We're just giving them examples. All the things that the Lord did for the nation of Israel, all the miracles that literally they were witnessing, and they still had the audacity to turn their back on the Lord.
Malachi 3 and I started 13. It says, "The word have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? Ye have said, it is vain to serve the Most High. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts?" That's what our people think, man. Because they're not prospering at that time, it's vain to serve the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, just because the Heavenly Father ain't giving them what they want at that time, they don't see no profit in serving them, man. They want the Heavenly Father to give them things, man. Like you're a damn genie. And then if you give me this, then I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? But it don't work like that, man. And if Jake don't get it from the Most Side, in their mind, then they go to the east, they go to the so-called white man and trust him. Look at him as God.
Yeah, bro. Moses came down from Mount Sinai.
You got it, bro.
Okay, yeah, Moses came down from Mount Sinai, and they were looking at Aaron like, man, like it's been so long. Moses is probably dead. You know? And then what they do, they set up a calf, gold, molten gold. You know, they set up a calf, and then they started worshiping that. Like, damn, like y'all can't really go like a month. Or how long was it? Like 40 days, 40 nights, 40 nights?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like y'all can't even, damn, like all the things the Lord did for y'all.
Yeah, he got it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
24. This is Nehemiah chapter 9, in verse 24. It says, "So the children went in and possessed the land, and thou subdue it before them, the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, and giveth them into their hands with their kings and the people of the land, that they might do with them as they would."
Yeah, man. So the Lord was like, man, you just go up in there and you could do what you gotta do. Because what the Lord say, like go into the land of Canaan and pretty much possess it. You know, we had Israel take down the Perizzites and Hivites. You know what I'm saying? All these different tribes. And pretty much the Lord was saying like, okay, whoever is up in your way, go ahead and take them over because I'm delivering them into your hand. And just imagine, bro, you going like straight just war for like years. You know, because the Lord said like, man, this is yours. Go ahead and take it. You know, right?
No, verse 25, "And they took strong cities, and a fat land, and possessed houses full of all goods, wells digged, vineyards and olive yards, and fruit trees in abundance. So they did eat, and were filled, and became fat, and delighted themselves in thy great goodness."
Yeah, man. So the Lord was blessing us. Like, man, I'm giving you all these things. Like, here you go. Hey, what else? That's why it goes into that in Isaiah the 5th chapter, talking about the vineyard and the wild grapes. Like the Lord was like, man, what else could I have done to my vineyard that it brought forth wild grapes? Going into the wickedness of Israel, that wild grapes. And like, man, I took care of my vineyard. I did this, watered it. You know what I'm saying? I put hedges around it. So what else could I have done for it to have brought forth wild grapes? Like Israel, what more do you need? Right?
Our people, man, our people, they go after these strange gods because they're impulsive. And the temporary God which our people follow now is really Esau Edom.
Yep.
You know, or the government, I should say. You know? I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, there's a push towards socialism. Really, they're making this place a welfare state. If you think about it, with these stimulus checks, that's going to cause a huge inflection of the American dollar, and so that's going to cause the spending power, if you will, for lack of a better term, forget the Edomite term, that's going to make it weaker. So prices of food will go up, much like you see in Venezuela, and that's going to induce people to basically believe it totally in what the government is telling them to do, man. And that's why cryptocurrency is going to utilize also. You see? So now it's the time to really make a stance of what you believe in, man. But a lot of our people, they're going to follow after the ways of Esau Edom. That's going to reach their detriment or to their destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Esau, man, bro, Esau's got this thing so, our people are so wrapped up in their finger. Like, really, we can't, like, in this society, and you know, we live in Dallas, we can't really survive unless you, like, provide.
Gotta deal with it.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
More than Isaiah?
Actually,
Yeah.
Get this one real quick.
Jeremiah 8 and 5. Why then did this people of Jerusalem slid back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit, they refuse to return.
Yeah, so you read the example that the brother read in Nehemiah 9th chapter. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gave you this and that, provided you for this, delivered your enemies into your hands, you know, promised you a land of milk and honey. You know what I'm saying? But you, what did it say? It said that, but they still turn back. You know, that's why in Isaiah the first chapter it says that the whole head is sick. There is no ointment that can heal the blisters and the ulcers. You know what I mean? So what do you gotta do? You pretty much you gotta purge it. I mean, there's no other choice, man. Israel is so far gone to where like the Lord has no choice but to destroy them, persecute them. Right.
I'm jumping to verse 7, Jeremiah 8 and 7. Yet the stork in heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord.
Yeah, my people know not the judgment of the Lord. You know, so the reason why we in this captivity and been in captivity under all these nations because of our stiff-neckedness, our rebelliousness. Oh, you know, hey, Moses took taking too long in the mountain. He dead. Now let us set up a golden calf and then we'll worship that. You know, Israel, man, over there in Ishkar, man, they worship any goddamn thing. They see a statue bleeding out their eyes and the image of Jesus Christ, and then they suits. You know what I mean? That's why the Lord has to destroy these people, man. Like, he ain't got no choice. Like, man, like, what else can I do? What more? Hey, matter of fact, you think I did the picture of the like, what more can I have done to my vineyard?
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Now it was seen to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choice vines, and built a tower in the midst of it. And also made a winepress therein, and he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Right, so the vineyard, so the husbandman is talking about the Lord. The vineyard is Israel. And it's pretty much explaining, like, man, I digged y'all out. You know what I'm saying? I set y'all up. I gave y'all land. You know, I got the vineyard. I got Israel. Man, I put stones around. I put a hedge around it. You know what I mean? Like, the Lord is pretty much explaining, like, man, I did all this for y'all, right? Go ahead.
No, this is verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
Yeah, so pretty much, let's say, for example, I'm with this brother, right, and we're talking, and I got my son, right, and then I do all these things for him, and all of a sudden he want to talk back and be all rebellious, right? And I'm like, man, bro, I've been doing this for my son, you know what I'm saying? I've been getting him toys, you know, I got his own room, I got him a PlayStation. Like, what else do I gotta do for him to, you know, to respect me? You know what I mean? Like, I did all these things. You know what I'm saying? I got him in soccer practice. You know, I paid for that. So you know what I mean? I do this, that. Like what else, bro? Like what do you think else I should have done for him to grow up and be show some respect, right? That's pretty much what the Lord is saying with Israel, man. Like what else could I have done for y'all? Right? Go ahead.
Son, it says, wherefore when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Yeah, man. So the grapes and the wild grapes pretty much represent Israel and their wickedness. Wicked ass Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So what else could I have done to my vineyard for it to bring forth wild grapes? You know? So the Lord is like, damn, I thought I did everything. I mean, what else could I have needed? You know?
I finished it. Okay, come. This is Deuteronomy 32. And I start at 9. It says, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in a waste howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. As the eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord did alone, like it says, so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. And he led him, and he made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increases of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the fitly rock. I think I'm saying that right. It says butter the kin. It says and milk of sheep, and with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, and with fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink pure blood of the grapes. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou waxest fat, and thou grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. That's how people are, man. You know, they getting on like the brothers going into, like in Isaiah 5, how the Most High did all these things for our people, but yet it's still, you know, they rebelled, man. They were disobedient, man. You know.
Yeah.
Back in Isaiah. Okay, this is back in Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 5. It says, and now go to, I will tell you what to do to my vineyard. I will take away the heads thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
Okay, so what is that going into? Pretty much how the Lord, when he set us up, the blessings and the cursing, or the curses. You know, in Deuteronomy, starting at Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. So like, oh look, all you gotta do is what I tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? And all these blessings are gonna come upon you, right? But if you don't do what you're supposed to do, and verse 15 on down, then all these curses are gonna come upon you, right? Read that last
Verse 5, Isaiah 5 and 5, and now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the heads thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the walls thereof, and it shall be trodden down.
Yeah, man. So pretty much representing that protection around Israel, man. Because if you read Judith, the 6th chapter, it goes into how pretty much the other nations had pretty much like a conference between themselves. And they're like, look, what can we do to bring these people down? And then I think it was a Moabite. I forget his name.
No, I think it's in chapter 5.
Oh, is it chapter 5?
I think it's 5.
Look, if you can get it. Yeah, if you can get it, you know, pretty much he was like, man, like, all we gotta do is just make them go off. Like, make them go off away from their power, and they'll be susceptible to
everything.
That's right, to whatever, anything. You know, so he understood, because after Egypt, like the other nations saw the power of the Lord, and they were like, man, these people got like an actual God on their side, you know. So eventually, of course, somebody would take notice and say, like, look, I think if we just make them go away from the rituals and all these things that they do, and pretty much make them transgress against their God, then we have the opportunity to take them over. Because that wall of protection, that hedge that is talking about in Isaiah the 5th chapter, is going to be thrown down, right? You find it?
I found it. It's pretty brief. Okay. Going to what the brother was bringing out. It says, now this is Judith 1. Yeah, so like, Judith 1 started. All right, this is the book of Judith, chapter 5, and verse 3. All right, it says, and he said unto them, tell me now, ye sons of Canaan, who this people is that dwelleth in the hills country, and what are the cities that they inhabit, and what is the multitude of their army, and wherein is their power and strength, and what king is set over them, or captain of their own army.
Right, so it's pretty much the same thing that be going on with other nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, how many guys they got? What's the artillery look like? How many tanks you said? Okay, all right. How many warships? Damn, all right. Okay, how about airships? You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw, it's just the method of war, right?
Intel.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, intel.
Okay, it says, verse 4, it says, and why have they determined not to come and meet me more than all the inhabitants of the west? Then said Apor, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant. I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people which dwelleth near thee.
Okay, so check this out. So when Israel was in line with the Lord and actually not going off, like for example with David, Jonathan, Saul, what would they always do? Like, they would always, before they go into war, they would ask the Lord, like, should I go and take them over? And then the Lord would either say like no, or go ahead, I've delivered them into your hands. For example, like with Jonathan, right? I think it was him and his father Saul. They were like at the campaign, and Jonathan had his settlement. He saw the Philistines far away. Yeah.
Him and dude over there, they slayed him. Yeah. I know something about that.
Remember, like before they went over there, they pretty much asked the Lord, like, should we go over there and take them over? And pretty much the Lord replied and said, look, if they say this, then don't do nothing. But if they, they said, okay, so he said pretty much like, hey, Lord, can we go over there and take them down? And the Lord pretty much said, look, if they tell you to come up to them, then I think he said, don't do nothing. But if they come to you, then go ahead and they in your hands. So it pretty much ended up being like that. I think they came over to Jonathan, and he's like, okay, that's a sign. So they took him down. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, and the inhabitant, I started verse 5, it says, I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and the inhabit the hill countries, and there shall no lie come out of my mouth, the mouth of thy servant. This people are descendants of the Chaldeans, which Abraham, he dwelt in the land of yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it says, and they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshipped the Most High of heaven, the Most High whom they knew. So they cast them out of the face from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there for many days. And their power commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt and were
increased with gold and silver and with very much cattle. But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, where they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation. Therefore, the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtlety. Damn, how you say that? Subtlety with them, and brought them low with labor and bricks, and made them slaves.
Okay, so think about this, right? I'm just gonna give an example. So these in the ancient times, they knew the history and what happened with Egypt and all the things that was concerning Israel. So think about today. You know, you got these elites, man. They know the history of Israel, man. So they know that making us go off and keeping us away from the law, statutes, commandments is going to keep us in that under submission. You know what I'm saying? So if they knew that, well, how much more this time Esau going to know that?
Right.
That's why, like, everything that America stands for is against the words of Yahawashi, man, the way of life, that tree of life. You know?
God, it says, verse 12, and they cried unto their power, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight. The Most High dried the Red Sea before them and brought them from Mount Sinai and Kadesh born, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness.
Yeah, so remember, this ain't the first time that the Lord has pretty much thrown it in our face. Like, man, like, look, I literally took y'all out of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because if you read Exodus, the first chapter, until pretty much the Egyptians put us in slavery because, like, man, they growing in numbers. One day they might overtake us. I think we need to take them down right now. And then what happened? Over a dispensation of time, it says that Israel cried out to the Lord because of all what they were going through, and they said that the Lord heard their cries. You know, and for that reason, the Lord sent Moses to take us out of there. You know? So you got to think about the ungrateful and selfishness of Israel to really just turn their back on the Lord. You know what I'm saying? After he literally took us out of a mighty nation, the greatest nation in the world at that time, to set us up and have our own thing going. You know, but Israel is so goddamn far gone. They don't even think about that. Like, the Lord literally took you out of the hands of the power. The world power at that time. Right? Go ahead.
I'm going to jump down to 17, bro. It says, and whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered, because their power that hated iniquity was with them.
Yeah, so whilst they sinned not. Because if you go to Baruch, the first chapter, it said that once Israel went off, them curses cleaved unto us. You know, and when you look up that word cleave, it means pretty much like somebody like really just like got their whole damn grip on you. You know what I mean? So that's what happened with the curses, man. Like, boom, that's it. And that goes back to Isaiah the 5th chapter, man. Like, I built my hedges around, you know, I put my stones, I put a fence, you know. And then what else could I have done for this vineyard that it brought forth wild grapes? Right?
Verse 18, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into the land that was not theirs, and the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their city was taken by the enemies.
Yeah, man, if you read Ezra's the first chapter, going to Josiah's, I think it was Jeconiah's, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much they going off, and then they were taken over by the Babylonians. You know? And that's happened many times throughout the history of Israel, man. You know, like the examples that the Lord puts out, like, man, look, all you got to do is just do what I tell you. And all these blessings, hey, if you do what I tell you, you know, your enemies will come in one way and they'll flee from you 7 ways. You know? So pretty much this was Ammonite pretty much going into like, look, man, you see all the things that their power did for them. As long as they with him, we can't touch them. You know? Right? Go ahead.
Verse 20, it says, well, verse 19, Salaki. It says, but now are they returned to their power and are come up from the place where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Right. So there was a time when Israel really did have dominion set up. You know what I'm saying? Even during the time of during the peace, during the reign of Solomon, then you got David. You know what I'm saying? So Israel did have their own thing going during this set of time, even with Moses. You know what I mean? So they did have that. I want to say that structure set up to where they were actually not going off, but eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like this Ammonites talking about, like, look, as long as we make them go off, yeah, we got them. You know, right? Go ahead.
That always was a snare for our people, man, all these other areas, man. You know, especially with all
Definitely now, man, with Bibles, you know, based on you can recognize you with rent. So web, which means excuse my language. Oh, what about it?
One of them bitches, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying old as hell. Cardi B had water gravy for wet, which means wet ass pussy. You have people like Maxine Waters praising that. They're supposed to be, you know, a representative for the black race, you know, and that's all what makes enchantments on our people, in particular our women, to objectify themselves.
That's right. You niggas are pathetic, man.
You know, but you can blame it on the so-called white man.
Yep.
You know, Cardi B is a product of Babylon. Maxine Waters, a damn feminist, is a product of Babylon, man. Okay? Can I grab one real quick? Jeremiah 50 and 4. In those days, and at that time, said Yahawah, children of Israel shall come. Actually, let me start at 6. I'm sorry. Jeremiah 50 and 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away from the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Their resting place, Yahawashi and sham. All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahawah, the inhabitants of justice, even Yahawah, the hope of their fathers. You see? So the shepherds of our people are who? It's who? Esau Edom. Okay? He is the leader of Babylon the Great, aka America. You see? And now you have Joe Biden representing, that infrastructure. You know, and what does he push? Well, he's pushing folly. He's pushing wickedness. Case in point, transgenderism.
Okay. Things, boy. Yeah.
Psalms 106 and verse 34, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. And yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan,
which is Molech and things of that nature. And that's being for gold, things of that nature, and that's being promoted here. You see, you got the Republicans versus the Democrats. The Democrats say, "Oh, we're pro-choice. We're for letting a woman choose whether or not she want to have a child, so she could better her career." You see, and with that mindset or that ideology, they rationalize killing a child, man.
Right.
The safest, the most unsafe place for a black child is their own damn mother's womb.
It's sad, bro.
That's the number one
Sad.
the number one killer.
Bro, you gotta think about those, like that, And now they promote, right, Planned Parenthood and all that, destroying the fetus. You know what I'm saying? But then Esau got it so worked up to where now putting that fetus to death, they can use that fetus to further their science.
Yes, sir.
But this shit is in vaccines.
Yep.
This shit is in vaccines, bro.
Yep. They'll use
shit.
like the parts of the child's tongue to actually use it to test various products they want to come out with.
This shit is crazy, bro.
I got something, bro.
Hella wicked.
Yeah, going into Baal Peor, it says Baal Peor literally means God of the open wide, or Lord of the rectum. So exactly, man. So they pushing that shit hard, like you said, man. With these women, okay, now you got these congressmen, these damn transgenders in power, man. And now they trying to pass laws where your child can decide whether they want to be a damn male or female. They trying to do away with what the Most High set up. Like it said in like Yahawashi said in the beginning, he made them male and female. Esau's trying to do away with that whole thing, man, and set up this folly, man. You know what I'm saying? His agenda, man.
Man.
That image of the beast, all that, man. Esau, we're seeing it now, man. Esau doing. We seeing it now, and then we seeing these stuff that he's trying to pass, these laws he's trying to pass, man.
Baphomet.
Yep, exactly, man.
Basically, they're trying to make many Baphomets to where you decide whether or not you're going to be a child, or be a male or female. That is a whole concept called non-binary, which means you don't have a gender, man. There was actually a star that was that plays in the WNBA. So I looked up her stats. She was whack as hell. She got her breast removed, and she says she doesn't identify as a male or female.
Man.
That's what they're pushing. You see, anti-God, man, because the Most High has made a way. So this is total sexual acts and sexual rituals are a way to basically rebel against the Most High. So you look up Baal Peor, a way in which you had to basically worship it. You have to basically do some foul shit. You know, actually eat excrements and stuff, eating ass and shit.
Man.
Excuse my language, but that's, if you do research, that's actually what people were doing.
Man,
But here it is, the Most High gave his people a law. But y'all, let me get this real quick. This Jeremiah 8 and 8. How do we say we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. So Israel look at the laws of the Lord and it's in vain. Y'all wouldn't trust the laws of the land, which is supposed to be in the scriptures, but the Most High gave y'all laws, statutes, commandments to go by to be better than everybody else. But y'all think the Lord made his laws in vain for his people, because it says right here at the bottom of that, it says, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribes is in vain. So they're saying the prophets is in vain because, man, bro, Israel, y'all motherfuckers gotta die, bro. Man, bro, y'all some wicked, retarded ass people, man. You got beautiful laws to go by, bro. But you gotta be very prideful to say the laws of the Most High or high power gave you is in vain, man. That's some prideful shit.
Man, bro, that's exactly why he said that to Samuel. Like, look, but Samuel got mad when the nation of Israel asked for a king to be set up over them like the other nations. But the Lord said, like, no, go ahead and give them that king. Because they ain't reject you, they rejected me. But let me tell you the manner of the king, how the king's gonna be. It's pretty much
Cruel.
Like cruel, yeah. Like the Lord said, like, all right, that's how it's gonna be. Why do you think Trump, Obama, Biden, and presidents before, why do you think they deal with the nation of Israel like they do? Because the Lord said, like, man, okay, you want a king? This is the manner of the king there for it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's the punishment of Israel, man, for being wicked. Spiritual fornication, going off against, doing whatever, the sacrificing their kids. You know what I'm saying? You got the Aztec Ishakar, human sacrifice, worshiping the sun. Man, there's so many damn examples, bro.
Everything.
Israel's got to be destroyed, man. That's why Zechariah talks about how 2/3 of our nation's got to die. They have to die. There's no, if you believe in the Bible, then you have to accept the fact that 2/3 of our people are going to have to die. And 2/3 compared to millions is a lot. You know, yeah.
All right, this is Zephaniah 1 and 8. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children and all such as are clothed with strange apparel." Now, people are clothed with those strange apparel or those different coverings of these different gods, man. You don't have the covering of Yahawah, sham, man. That's how you want it. Righteousness, man.
They don't even want the covering of the Lord.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like the brother said, man, they think the ways of the they think the ways of the Lord are old fast, man. That's the old, you know. It's 2000 something, man. We don't that's old, right? You know, right. It's the new age, you know. But Yahawah Shah gave us, we got a law on high from the Heavenly Father, man. That is perfect, bro. Man. And when we do get the laws in us, man, everything is gonna flourish, man. We gonna get to see how the earth is flourishing, how the earth gonna flourish, and everything gonna flourish through His laws, man. You know. Because this is the right way. He gave us the instructions how to run. You don't get no damn. You don't go to Walmart and buy no damn some furniture or something you got to put together and just throw the instructions away and do what the fuck you want to do. Yeah, you know, you follow those instructions, man, and that's how you build that up perfect. That way it's gonna be sturdy and it's gonna do what it needs to do. Likewise with the laws of the Heavenly Father.
I lay back off the precept. This is 2 Ezra 9 and 11. They that have known my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of religious open unto them, understood not but despised it. Same but knowing death by pain.
Death by pain, man. This is liberty right now. You still got a chance to come back unto the Heavenly Father, man. His hand is still stretched out, like the scriptures say, man. In Proverbs, I stretch my hand out. I forgot where it said. I stretch my hand out all day to a rebellious people, man. You know.
Yeah, man, that makes sense.
If I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense what you went into. Pretty much Israel is clothed with strange apparel. Because what's one of the laws at the end of the day? Like you're supposed to, when you're supposed to wear something, you're not supposed to mix it with all the other
fabrics.
Man,
it's a law.
Israel covered themselves with all kinds of shit, man.
Right. That's why I say in Isaiah, they got the covering, but not of my spirit, man. You know,
you laid iniquity with iniquity. You land sin on top of sin.
Yeah. And also,
are you good?
Yeah. Also, you're not supposed to be wearing anything that pertains to a woman, and conversely, a woman not supposed to wear anything that pertains to a man. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get this real quick. This Jeremiah 11:11, but since y'all don't want to listen, here's what's gonna happen, man. Jeremiah 11:11. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them." Man, it's all that scoffing and talking about the Hebrew Israelites on the corner, yada yada yada. Edom, you want to come with your little bullshit ass. Probably Southern law people, man. What the hell with y'all, man? There's so much wicked shit on your motherfucking ass. Yeah, round us up, man. The Lord will still prevent. You can't stop this word, bro. But since you niggas want to eat up this shit that the devil is putting out, the Lord will put an evil on your ass. Well, you ain't gonna be able to escape, man. That's right. Some scary shit, man. That's right. But keep talking your trash keep that same energy up when that time comes, man. That's right. But that's what's coming to you, bro.
That's right. Hey, all y'all black power cats that know about the truth.
Yep. And
you see Sardana on that platform, man. Sardana can't stop talking about the truth, man. He's conflicted. He's really conflicted. We talked about, he's like, man, I be begging on Israel, but they can treat me so good. It's like, damn, why I'm begging on the wrong people? He gets to say that, but that pride is going to help you. It's going to continue. It's gonna make him continue in that folly, man. So when he had a place of repentance, that dude's gonna die a horrible death. Along with polite, along with Umar.
Every dude with the ponytail on the side.
Oh, that nigga.
Israel, Ben X.
Yeah, Ben X. Yep.
He got the ponytail on the side. What's his name? Ben X?
Yeah.
Ben X. Yeah. I'm talking about that Egyptian.
He got the ponytail on the side. What's that nigga name?
He got another
forgot
nigga
his
with
name.
Shaka
Amo, y'all, that shit.
Yeah.
He got a ponytail on the side of
He
his
got a
head.
young nigga with him now.
Oh,
Two
man.
niggas with ponytails.
Come on, man. Hey, but y'all ain't hearkening to the Lord. Y'all got some shit to face, man.
Niggas got matching ponytails.
That's that Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Prince of
man,
Egypt,
bro.
nigga, man.
You got
Jeremiah 3:6. The Lord said also unto me, in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot.
you know, because even before Josiah, you had, he had pretty much set up the worshiping of the Sabbath. Or not worshiping of the Sabbath. He pretty much had the Sabbath set up a certain way, or not a certain way, but he had it done correctly. You know what I'm saying? But then, he still went off. Like to where Israel went into captivity. So even from those times until now, Israel's been
Playing the harlot.
Playing the harlot. You know what I'm saying? You read Jeremiah the 8th chapter. It says, "For the treachery of your sister Israel, for the treachery of Israel, for the treachery of Judah, and her sister Israel." You know what I'm saying? I have given you the bill of divorcement.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole other. Well, it's the same topic, but we can go all day talking about that. But it just shows you that at the end of the day, the prophecies that the Lord is going to pretty much setting forth is going into the judgment of Israel, the judgment of Edom, and the whole world. Because he promised things to Israel, and then he said, "Look, this is what I'm going to do if you don't get your act together." So we've seen prophecy being fulfilled, and the Lord pretty much staying to His word. And we seeing these things know that they you can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way you can avoid and turn your head and be like, "Oh, I didn't see it." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's amazing to see. It's also you in the flesh, so you're like, man, it's going down.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you believe at the end of the day, then you understand.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a point?
Like the priest said, man, this is a perfect time to repent, get this shit together.
Yep.
You know how you have last call for alcohol, but it's just last call for repentance, y'all. Get it together, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Get your stuff together.
That's right.
Take rebuke, and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes. But we in the times where pride is not cute. It ain't cute. We in time of that judgment, man. So we don't want to be caught out there being judged.
Yep.
A lot of these people out here, they're getting judged, and it's going to come to Israel too.
Man, bro. A lot of that judgment and everything that's going on in the world is leading up to Yahawashi returning, man. So it's going to get worse and worse and worse as he upon his return. So y'all better take heed, man. Shit.
With that, we want to give all praises to
Yahawah, by Shem, Yahawashi, by Shem, Kakudash.
Double honors to Apostle Elders, great no son, teach him real well, and peace and blessings to Hakim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keep his word with truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.